When was the last time you felt overwhelmed? And did you ever consider the possibility that you actually may be the reason you're feeling it? I'm Sanj and welcome to Master Your Mindset, Master Your Life. This is a podcast that helps you navigate life's challenges by helping you master your mindset so you can master your life. If you get something from this, please share it with someone who you think would benefit from hearing it. Also, I would really appreciate it if you could leave me a rating or a review. So, a quote by Lou Holtz is, "It's not the load that breaks you down, it's the way you're carrying it." And that's what today's episode is all about. It's about taking back control over overwhelm, and by understanding that you actually have more power over it and you could be causing it more than you think. I'm going to be talking about what overwhelm really is, why it happens, and more importantly, how to reduce it through some key mindset shifts. So if you feel like the weight of the world is on your shoulders and it's just getting too much to handle, stick with me because we're going to go through this together. So let's first go into what is overwhelm and how it actually affects us. So what exactly is overwhelm? Overwhelm is that state of being where everything feels like it's too much. You know the feeling. You actually have probably felt it so often that you may have become accustomed to it. It feels like you're juggling 100 things at once, and at any moment, one more task will just make everything come crashing down. Mentally, it feels like your brain is constantly on overdrive, that it's just constantly buzzing. And physically, it's draining. You feel exhausted even though you've barely scratched the surface of your to-do list. And finally, emotionally, this is where it hurts. It can make you feel anxious. It can make you feel irritable and even helpless. And that's not what you want for your life. That's not why we're put on this earth. We're not here just to feel this much overwhelm. So, and ironically, 75% of adults experience moderate to high levels of stress on a regular basis. And much of that stress actually stems from the feelings of being overwhelmed. And overwhelm can affect you in so many different ways. But I'm just going to talk about mentally, physically, and emotionally today. So mentally, you may be struggling with focus because when you're feeling overwhelmed, there's so much on your plate. You're going to be forgetting things easy because you're there like, I've got too much to actually worry about. Your mind could be in one place while your body's in another place. And you're there trying to think, actually, I've still got X, Y, and Z to do. And so then you're going to have trouble making decisions because you're not able to focus on one thing at a time. You're trying to think of so much. You're trying to do so much. And you're causing yourself just to feel this unnecessary stress. Physically, you may be feeling fatigued, have headaches, or just experience tension throughout your body. Because when you're feeling stressed, when you're feeling overwhelmed, you get stressed, and stress can just causes all your muscles to tighten. So you start to feel tension throughout your body. And emotionally, overwhelm can lead to things like frustration. It can lead to anxiety, and it can result in burnout because you just feel like you're on the go constantly. When you're overwhelmed, you're not living as you should be. You're in survival mode. What you're doing is you're just trying to make it through the day. But living like that long term, feeling overwhelmed constantly, it's not sustainable. And it actually keeps you from thriving. But here's the key. Most of the time, you're the one causing your own overwhelm. And there are so many reasons for feeling overwhelmed. So 5 of the big ones are that taking on too much at once. Let's face it, it's easy to say yes to too many things, whether it's projects at work, whether it's social commitments, or even personal goals. You can overload yourself because you believe that you can do it all. But the ugly truth is, you can't. Second thing is lack of prioritization. It can feel like everything's urgent. If everything feels urgent, then nothing truly is. And when you do not have clear priorities, all tasks seem equally important. And that's when the overwhelm starts to actually engulf you. You get stuck in the mindset of, I have to do everything right now. I have to get it all done. I have to get it all complete. Third reason is, it's such a simple word, but we fear it so much, and that is the word no. How many of you struggle with saying the word no? You worry about disappointing others or missing out on something, so you say yes to more things that you can handle, and then you wonder why you're drowning in responsibilities, in commitments. Fourth thing, perfectionism. The perfectionist trap. You set yourself impossible standards for yourself, and then when you can't meet them, because we're human at the end of the day, you feel overwhelmed by your own expectations. Perfectionism is a lie. It's one of the biggest drivers of overwhelm. As I say, what's perfect to you is never going to be perfect to someone else. They're always going to have their own view on it. And the fifth thing is something that causes us great discomfort to do. And that is, overwhelm happens when we don't set clear boundaries with others. And it is uncomfortable to set these boundaries. But it's not only the boundaries you set with others, but it's the ones that you set with yourself. If you're always available to everyone, you never create any space for your own needs. And that means it's only a matter of time before the overwhelm starts to set in. But now you may be thinking, but these aren't things that are happening to me. But here's a tough truth. You are the cause of your own overwhelm. And you're thinking, but it's not my fault. I'm just trying to keep up with life. And sure, it can feel like external factors, work deadlines, obligations, social expectations. All of these things are to blame for your overwhelm. But the hard pill to swallow is, most of the time, you're causing your own overwhelm. Why? Because you control the choices that you make. You choose the commitments you accept. You choose the way you manage your time. So let me break it down. When you say yes to everything, you're choosing to take on more than you can handle. When you don't prioritize or set boundaries, you're choosing to let everything feel urgent. And when you aim for perfection, you're setting yourself up for failure. So the good news is that if you're causing your own overwhelm, that means you also have the power to change it. It's all about how you frame your mindset and how you decide to handle the tasks in front of you. It's easy to say yes to everything. But by saying yes to everyone else, everyone externally, you're saying no to yourself. So here are 5 ways that you can reduce the feeling of overwhelm through your mindset shift and perspective shift. As always, these are actionable and they can be done quickly. So the first is embrace done is better than perfect. One of the biggest mindset shifts you have to let go of to help with your overwhelm is letting go of perfection. Understand that having something done is better than perfect. When you start to aim for progress instead of perfection, you're actually far less likely to be paralyzed by overwhelm. The second thing is learn the power of the word no. It's a game changer. It's so simple. It's such a small word, but we fear using it because we fear actually letting others down and disappointing others. Learn that saying no isn't selfish. It's actually essential for your well-being. Start saying it more often. If something is not a priority or it's stretching you too thin, allow yourself and give yourself that permission to pass. You don't have to be at every social event. You don't have to say yes to help out every single one but yourself. It's okay to make yourself a priority as well. The third thing is break it down. When you look at your to-do list, it's easy to feel overwhelmed by the sheer volume of things that you've got on it. But instead, break your tasks into smaller, more manageable pieces. And the smaller the pieces, the less overwhelming it feels. Baby steps lead to big wins. And if you start on one or two small baby steps, you'll start to build that momentum. You'll start to build moving forward. And it's amazing what happens as you start to build that momentum. You will notice that you start to feel happier, more productive, and you'll start clearing that to-do list a lot quicker than you thought. Next thing, if you can, prioritize. Yeah, and then whatever is low on the priority list, if you can, delegate it. Everything can't be urgent. You need to learn and prioritize what actually matters and delegate tasks wherever possible. When you actually focus on 3 main priorities a day, you will be up to 30% more productive. And the final thing, schedule downtime. You don't constantly have to be on the go. Overwhelm often comes because you're not making time for yourself. Schedule breaks, rest, downtime. All of these things, it's not lazy, it's essential. When you actually start taking these breaks, it actually increases your productivity. What it does is it gives your brain the reset it needs to actually focus more and to work more efficiently. And when you take that step back, it allows you, and in that stillness, it allows your mind to become creative and come up with solutions that you would never have had if you had kept pushing yourself. So the bottom line is that overwhelm doesn't just happen to you. You have more control over it than you think. You sitting there complaining that all these things externally are causing your overwhelm, they're not making you say yes to it all. You're the one who's deciding as well. So by changing the way you approach your tasks, your time and your mindset, you can actually reduce the feeling that you're having that the world is on your shoulders. And you can start actually thriving rather than just surviving. What would your life look like if you actually stopped letting overwhelm control you and you started taking back control over your time and your energy? Think about it. You've got the power to set boundaries. You've got the power to prioritize. You've got the power to shift your mindset. So what's stopping you? Thank you so much for joining me today on Master Your Mindset, Master Your Life. And if this episode resonated with you, please share it with someone who you know who may be feeling overwhelmed. Also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and leave me a review so you never miss an episode. So until next time, it's not about the load that you're carrying, it's about how you choose to carry it. So that's it, what I've got for you today. So be sure to follow me on Instagram at just.live.coaching for more daily mindset tips. And as always, keep mastering your mindset, because when you master your mindset, you master your life. As always, my mission is to make a positive impact on the world, and I sincerely hope you can help me do that by liking, by following, and by sharing this podcast with others. So until next time, keep seeking, keep growing, and keep mastering your mindset to master your life. Thank you.